Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Living Football, brought to you from the home of FIFA here in Zurich, Switzerland. It's great to have you joining us, and today we're looking forward to speak to FIFA's new Chief Member Associations Officer, Kenny Jean-Marie, here on the Living Football sofa, about FIFA's tremendous support for its 211 member associations, and we will talk to one of the best African strikers in English Premier League history, better known as the Yak, and famous for his brilliant goal-scoring accuracy. Yakubu Ayegbeni represented his country in 4 African Cups of Nations, the 2000 Summer Olympics, and of course, the FIFA World Cup 2010. When he retired, he was the highest goal-scoring African in Premier League history at the time, coming after Didier Drogba and Emmanuel Adebayor. Today, he's not only a well-known pundit, but also runs a football academy in Nigeria. Yakubu Ayegbeni, we're so happy to have you. Where are you and how are you right now?
I'm fine. I'm in London at the moment with family. I live here more than in Nigeria.
You had such a fantastic career, becoming the 3rd highest African goal scorer in the history of the Premier League at that time. You scored incredible 95 goals in 252 Premier League appearances. And I think if you compare the clubs you've achieved that mark with all respect, wasn't the achievement even higher?
The achievement, I think, is really, really good. And I'm excited. I'm happy about it, When you look at the clubs I've played, Portsmouth, Middlesbrough, and Everton, and Blackburn Rovers, to score those goals is not easy, It's not like I'm playing for a massive team like Liverpool, Man City, or Chelsea, Don't forget, I was injured. I didn't play for 1 year. In that 1 year, I know I should have scored more than 95 goals in the Premier League before I left. So scoring those goals, 95 goals in the Premier League in 250 appearances is unbelievable.
You started playing football in the streets of Benin City. That was at the beginning of the 90s, and it must have been tough, though.
It's not easy, growing up and playing football in the street, without shoes, with barefoot, is so different, And I still remember growing up, in the academy, we have a game. I remember we played a game. Every guy's there, they're wearing shoes. And that was my first time wearing shoes to play. I find it difficult to use the shoes to play because I never use shoes to play. So, so I put on the shoes, then 5-10, I think it's about 5-10 minutes. I couldn't cope. I have to just take off the shoes and then play with my bare foot. And I think I was the man of the match in that game. I wasn't scared about the other guys with studs and with the shoes, but I was so there. The desire was there. I want to play. I have to get used to the boot, but it was too early for me to get used to the boot to play. So from there, I realized I need to start using shoes to play because I was used to not using shoes to play.
Yakubu, today you also run a football academy in Nigeria. FIFA's aim is to give every talent a chance. So who gave you a chance in the first place?
Who gave me the chance? I think I've been to like 3-4 trials in my city in Benin. They didn't believe in me. I went to the top Nigeria club in Benin. I went there to do trials twice, and they say you're not good enough. Then I went to the amateur team in outside Benin, but still in the Edo State, Okumu FC. And I went there as a midfielder. I used to play midfield then. I went there. They're looking for a striker. Then my friend said, "Just come with me, and you never know what will happen." Then I played about 10 minutes towards the end of the game, and I think I did so well. And the manager there said, "I think I would like to see you more. You have to stay." I was planning to stay for the game. Then we finished the game already. Then he said, "Just stay. I would like to see more." on our way training about a month before the season started. And the striker left, he went to the insurance of Benin. They don't have any striker. And the manager then said to me, he said, I think you're going to be my striker. Every game I played is always Yak. They don't want to know how many they like. How many goals did Ayegbeni score today? From Maccabi Haifa then to Portsmouth is something really special. Maccabi will always be special to me because they gave me the platform to start, to develop as a young kid, leaving home, leaving your parents at the age of 18, 19. It wasn't easy for me.
Well, and 10 years after the Olympics, you also played in the FIFA World Cup 2010. What are your personal memories of this tournament?
The tournament I was not lucky. I think I deserved to be there. I worked so hard to be at the South Africa World Cup. It's a dream as a player. You want to play in those big tournaments. You want to play there at the World Cup. For me to get that opportunity to be in the World Cup and in South Africa, the first African country to host the World Cup, is a joy to me. And I knew that was the last World Cup for me. I was almost 29, 30, and the next one going to be 4 years. So I was lucky enough of playing in the Nations Cup and to be at the World Cup. It's a great memory for every player all over the world. You want to play for your country. You want to see you see the best players. You played against the best player. The atmosphere is unbelievable. For me to be there, it's an honor I will never forget. Play for my country at the World Cup and scoring goals as well. I scored one and I missed one. It's part of the game.
As a FIFA legend, you have visited various projects from the FIFA Forward programs. Which one has particularly stuck in your memory and why?
I've been to Kenya as well. Then I went to Tonga, and it's crazy. It's unbelievable when you see these kids. Give these boys their dream. The project there they set up already is something very, very good. I'm really, really happy what FIFA are doing in football, not just only in Tonga, they're doing it in Africa as well, all over the world, which is really, really good. For the young boys in Tonga, you see the young boys, they watch football, they watch the Premier League, they want to be like Yak, they want to be like Kanu, they want to be like Messi, JJ and go. But you have to encourage this boy, you have to set up that project to give them the platform to follow their dreams.
What do you think about the impact the project had on the local community and also the children involved?
It's great, bringing these boys to go out to train. They don't get places like there where they can train, and it's a great facilities for these boys to train. The pitch is nice. Some of them, they want to be home, but now they go somewhere to go and train. They don't want to be in the street. It's really, really good project for the young ones to, you watch people on TV. Think about, I can be the next one. People will start watching me on TV. That is my motivation.
Thank you very much, Yakubu. It was a great pleasure talking to you. And I hope you will visit us here soon in Zurich once all the travel restrictions are lifted.
Sure. Thanks, Jessica. For sure I will come. Nice speaking to you. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
With the support of FIFA's COVID-19 Relief Plan and FIFA Forward, the Andorran Football Federation has been able to ensure the continuation of football operations and secure the future of their women's and futsal teams. Let's take a look.
Home, per l'equip és molt important en l'actualitat. Amb la pandèmia hi ha moltes coses, sobretot a nivell de vida social, que no es poden dur a terme, i el fet de poder practicar el futbol amb certa normalitat per les noies és una molt bona vàlvula d'escapament, i després fer-ho amb aquesta seguretat gràcies a les ajudes al programa COVID Relief de FIFA ens dona molta seguretat. Les noies poden acudir als entrenaments i les seves famílies estan molt tranquil·les.
Jo ho he notat bastant, de quan era petita, l'única noia a jugar, ara que veus gent, nenes amb l'equipació de l'ENFAF, nenes petites, i jo crec que també, com he dit abans, amb el programa Forward, que està posant, que ens està ajudant molt a desenvolupar la base, que és molt important, per després al sènior tenir bones jugadores i poder competir a nivells més alts.
El programa Forward per nosaltres és un 100%, sobretot perquè amb aquests ingressos es pot treballar a nivell de base, es pot treballar a nivell de gent jove, es pot treballar, al final el que diguem és treball. Sense aquests ingressos jo crec que estaríem amb un 10%, dintre del 100% que estem ara, amb un 10% de les nostres possibilitats. Esperem i desitgem que continuï així perquè per nosaltres és bàsic i per la nostra existència encara molt més.
Bueno, pues gràcies a les ajudes del Fons Forward de la FIFA hi ha moltes esperances perquè es pot desenvolupar tot molt bé. Aquests diners s'inverteixen tant als petits com als grans en noves instal·lacions, com per exemple la pista de la Massana.
Sí, efectivament sí que n'hi ha l'ajuda aquesta de Forward de FIFA. La veritat és que per nosaltres és molt important perquè som una federació petita i això ens ajuda molt a millorar la qualitat del nostre futbol.
Bueno, la pandèmia ha afectat a tot, ja només al futbol, a tot en general a nivell de societat. Llavors, hem de continuar lluitant, partits s'estan seguint molt més a nivell televisions, també se li està donant molta més difusió i aquest és el camí, apostar pel futbol femení, apostar per les noies i, sobretot, donar difusió.
And this project is just one of many important projects which FIFA is developing, supporting and funding all over the world through the COVID-19 Relief Plan and the Forward Program. And they all pass over one man's desk. Kenny Jean-Marie, FIFA's new Chief Member Associations Officer. Kenny, it's so great to have you here. Thank you much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Jessica. And a pleasure to meet everyone here in Home of Football. With the FIFA Forward program, we've been helping all our 211 member associations in the way they develop football all around the world. And yes, it is one of the great challenges that we need to face in order to achieve this mission, which is the core mission of FIFA, developing football.
But Kenny, before we speak about the FIFA Forward program, about the COVID-19 relief plan, we want to talk about you. I mean, you joined FIFA in 2020, and it was right in the middle of a pandemic. So, I thought that must have been a huge challenge, dealing with 211 member associations and COVID at the same time.
Yeah, I have to say it is, and it is still a big challenge. Because I joined FIFA exactly in September 2020, so after the first wave of COVID, and I was coming from French Football Federation at that time, so I had experienced the COVID in France, so it was already a tough situation to deal with. And I arrived in this big institution with the goal to help all those 211 member associations to cope with the situation and to survive to COVID basically. And it was not that easy, for sure. But once again, it is in our core job to do this. So it was with joy and commitment that I joined the team. It's not only me and the member association division, it is a huge team and huge and dedicated team. And the whole FIFA is dedicated to helping MAs. Yeah.
You served for almost 20 years within several ministerial departments in France, finally as senior political advisor to the French Prime Minister. But where does your passion for sports come from?
Well, it comes from very far because I come originally from the Caribbean. I come from Guadeloupe, French West Indies. I grew up over there, and sport was part of my life as a young teenager, structured my whole life. So when I joined the Navy, the French Naval Academy, I had the opportunity to have a teacher who told us once, well, you are a Navy officer or future Navy officer, this is a thing, but what I want you to have basically in your life is at least 2 patients. And I took those words from the very first letter, so I said, okay, what is my passion in life? So at that time I had 2 passions, sports and renewable energies. So, and I decided, I was 21, and I decided that one day I would work in this sport industry because sport was important to me, because volleyball at that time played a key role in my education and in the way I interacted with people, in the way I have been able to manage after. So everything started from the teenage.
Of course.
And then I had some opportunities in my public service career to meet people, to share with people, and at some point to join the Ministry for Sports, in the cabinet of the minister, to deal with some major projects like Euro 2016, but also with developing sports in all the sports in France. And at the end, like you said, I was advising the Prime Minister in France. But still then, it was not enough for me because I really wanted to join the industry and to join the sports industry.
And how would you define your core values?
My values are quite simple, basically. It's about trust, it's about engagement, it's about doing well whatever you try to do. And this comes from not only sports, but also from my family background. Be committed in what you do is key to me, and be authentic also is key.
And here we are, and here you are, and it's great that you are here, and now football is coming back to life. So how does FIFA support its 211 member associations on both a regular basis and to achieve its long-term objectives?
Yeah, I know that not everyone will be the specialist of it, but FIFA is helping a lot and helping all its member associations on a daily basis with a program that we call FIFA Forward program, which is a program that has been implemented in 2016 when Gianni Infantino got elected the first time. And we've been multiplying by 4-fold the amount of money that we are sending to the MAs in order to develop football. So this Forward program is part of the programs that I am running with the MA division. Almost $2 billion on the cycle from 2019 until 2023. And this program is basically aiming at achieving the FIFA vision, which is making football truly global. So this is the first part of it.
Yes.
Then there is a second part. Unfortunately, we had to face this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic last year.
Yes.
And we needed to find solutions, concrete solutions to member associations where they needed to face matches which were suspended at some point, tournaments and competitions suspended. And then after the suspension of the tournament, in order to resume, you had those COVID protocols. And the COVID protocols applied for the national team matches, but also for the local competition. So we needed to help them. Some of them, they lost sponsors. Some of them, they lost ticketing revenues. It was an intense and difficult period for all the family of football. And with the COVID relief plan that we set up last year, we've been able to save most of our stakeholders' life. And now I'm very happy to see that even now we are still continuing to implement this program. Even now we bear the fruit of what we set up last year. It was not an easy one. This $1.5 billion program that we made based on the reserves that we had also from the past. It was not easy to set up. It was not easy to implement. It was not easy even to think.
Of course.
But finally, I can say today that it has been helpful for all our stakeholders, from member associations, but also from the confederations.
But how do you go about what must be a huge task on a global scale?
Yeah, it is a challenge. I have to say it is a big challenge because it is basically dealing with 211 clients in a way, but yeah. It is more than client because the 211 are the parliament of football. So So
True.
I am nothing in this institution. I'm just a messenger, just trying to apply what my members want. So it is, yes, a complex challenge, but for this we've got an organization here at FIFA, but not only in Zurich here in the home of football, but also all around the world, because we've got, in addition to my team here in Zurich, 11 regional offices close to the member associations, in order to help them to set up their program, to set up the projects, and to accompany them in their projects.
What are the other objectives of this kind of investment? How do football fans all over the world see the differences made?
Oh, you can see the difficulty with football is that usually in the media they don't highlight those great stories that we have in developing football, but I've got so many examples of life-changing projects.
Tell us, please.
Yeah, for example, I will take the recent example that I experienced, because I was in Benin recently, and I saw this final school championship that we managed to deploy with the help of the Benin government.
Yeah, it was jointly organized.
Yeah,
yes.
It was jointly organized by FIFA, the government, and the member association of Benin. And I saw in the faces of the children playing this final stage, it was amazing, because it was like if a dream was coming true to them. So basically this example is a very good one. And I've got a second one, a recent one, because we contributed to refurbish the national stadium in Cabo Verde. Mm-hmm. And I remember this phrase of the national coach, who is a former player of the national team, and he was almost crying, saying that the very last time he played in this stadium, he was still a player. So he was so proud to see that with the help of the FIFA Forward funds and the accompaniment of the local municipality and the government, we have been able to reopen this stadium to all the people in Cabo Verde, not only from the main island, but also from the other islands. So huge, huge.
But I would also like to come back to the numbers. I mean, we're talking big numbers. You just mentioned $1.5 billion for the COVID-19 relief plan alone, another $2 billion invested through Forward. So how does FIFA ensure the money is spent correctly?
Yeah, it is a good question. And I have to say that from 2016, we did a huge job in order to clean up the situation, in order to make happen a process where there would be more transparency, more accountability. And this is what we did with the Forward program. It is not that we just decided to send money to everyone. We decided to set up a full program with some regulations and with some implementation steps, I would say. So for example, when you want to deploy a project, building a pitch or building a national technical center or building a stadium, as a member association of FIFA, you need to create a whole file with the project. You need to abide by the regulation in terms of tender processes. And then you deploy your project. There are some validation phases with the administration. Would it be in the regional office, here with the administration at FIFA, or even in the development committee that we have for the big projects? And after all, there is an audit which is done every year. And this is a new thing, because every year, each and every member association is audited by an independent company. So we are assuring that the money spent by FIFA on football development is really arriving to football development. And this is key, a key change over the last years, which allow us today, if you want to go on the FIFA.com platform, you will be able to experiment this FIFA Forward impact map that we launched last year, in order to show everyone with transparency where and what we invest in football. So I think that it's key.
So Kenny, what about women's football in general? Also there, the funds have significantly increased.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say that when we built the the COVID relief plan, we thought about women's football development also. So this is where there is a grant dedicated for women's football. We've seen this example in Andorra. It is a very interesting example because what we did is that we didn't want to just send the money for women's football. We said, okay, we will give you this grant, provided that you have a strategic plan, a strategic women's development plan. So this is a good news because with Sarah Iberman teams, we were able to discuss with each and every MA in order to build together the plan for the future and to use properly the funds from the COVID relief plan. And this comes in addition to all what they can do with the normal forward funds that we have. So I'm very happy that in some MAs they've been able to combine those two possibilities.
But first of all, we have to give every talent a chance. And today we spoke with one of the best African strikers of his generation, and he knows how important it is to give every talent this chance.
When you see these girls and boys, they want to play. For me to be in that pitch with these kids, to show them, to motivate these young kids to follow their dreams. And you have to give thanks to FIFA as well. I think they are doing a great job around the world, trying to set up a big project. The project enticed me a lot for them to go all the way to Tonga. The far is a very, very far place. To go to that place to motivate the young kids and boys is something really, really, really touched my heart, you know. So.
It's great to see a football legend talking about how important this support is for the kids, for the communities, and also for the countries, for the member associations.
Exactly, exactly. And I have to say, this is the central part of my mission here at FIFA. Champion the development of football everywhere and for all. And it is really everywhere, even in Tonga, even in Vanuatu. We were refurbishing the national stadium recently, but not only in China. And we help China, which is a very big country. We help them to set up this youth championship. But on the other hand, we help also Tonga. So you see, this is
on a grassroots level and on a higher performance level.
Exactly, exactly. Because it is a chain, basically. It is a continuous chain that starts from grassroots up to the elite. And in order to build a 23 people team, you need to have the basis. And it is the same for every member association in every country. It is just that the equation is different depending on the size of the country.
What about off the fields? Are there any plans to further enhance the services provided to FIFA's members?
Yeah. This is definitely the future. But we are working now on the future. And I can take, for example, the Connect program, because registering the players is key. We mentioned grassroots to elite, but if you want to have a sustainable system, you need from the grassroots to register the players. It is key because in FIFA regulations, in FIFA statutes, we've got some possibilities to activate solidarity mechanism. When a star becomes a star,
of course.
When you got transferred internationally, you've got some solidarity mechanism that can apply and that can help the clubs, the very first club of the young child, the young boy or the young girl, because they would get at least some funds to continue developing football. So this is key. And in order to do this, FIFA deployed a program called Connect program in order to give for free to all these member associations, or at least all those who wanted, a dedicated IT system to register players. And in addition to this program, this is what is new now.
Yes.
We have created what we call the Connect ID. To make it simple, it is a passport, the player passport. So basically, tomorrow, no one will be able to cheat with the system because we will know from the very early age until the mature age of elite player, we will know his pathway. So we will be able, with the clearinghouse that we are setting up right now, we will be able to redistribute ourselves, to take the solidarity money and to redistribute it to the relevant clubs.
Yes.
And this,
training compensation.
Yeah, training compensation. So this, in terms of solidarity, it is key. And in terms of developing football, it is key. And this is the future. And this is a new service that FIFA will provide to all the member associations. But not only the federation, but also until the club, the very base. So this is a good one, a good example. I would say that there is another part that we need to explore in the future, and we have already started, because we fund some projects about digitalization of the federation, because digital is the future. And we need, even ourselves in the football industry, to be able to fit with this future, because this changes the processes, this changes also the fast of some of our projects. So when I speak about digitalization, we can speak about VAR, because some of our MAs, even in Europe, I will take the example of Kosovo, some of our MAs use forward funds to develop the VAR. But not only VAR, it can be also about how we fine-tune the broadcasting of our matches. And on this, we helped, for example, North Macedonia with a platform for them to host all their matches and to broadcast them. So maybe in the future, we will be able to develop such platforms. So we need to be a living body, living football in a living body. And you asked me, one of the very first questions you asked was, how do you deal with 211? But today, I have to say that with technology, we are able to have a congress online with 211 MAs, which is a huge challenge all around the world, but we did it. And this is, in a way, the way FIFA is, as a living body, evolving and being more and more mature.
Kenny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hope to see you soon again on the Living Football sofa.
Pleasure to come back in Living Football to explain what we are doing,
Kenny Jean-Marie, FIFA's new Chief Member Association Officer. We hope to see you soon, and then with another episode of Living Football. Till then, all the best. Bye-bye and take care.